our PHS news special on the Moondance project.
I'm Jack Davis.
And I'm Millie Davis.
Today we'll be talking about the Moondance project. The Moondance project is a project to raise awareness about bowel cancer in Wales.
Bowel cancer is the fourth most common cancer and the second biggest cancer killer in Wales. Every year, 2,200 people are diagnosed and 900 will die. The Moondance Bowel Cancer project aims to transform 5-year survival rates of bowel cancer within a decade. Thanks to the fundraising of the Moondance Foundation, hopefully we will see a change.
Earlier this week we met up with Benji Williams from Bowel Screening in Wales. Let's see what he has to say about the screening process.
So there are over 2,200 new cases of bowel cancer diagnosed in Wales each year. It's the fourth biggest cancer, but actually the second biggest killer. And one of the key bits in terms of treating bowel cancer effectively is to find it early, so that we can offer the best treatments and best possible outcome. That's really where the screening programme comes in. So our goal is to reduce mortality from bowel cancer in the eligible population, and we send a free home testing kit to people aged between 60 and 74 every 2 years. The test is quite simple to undertake. It'll arrive by post. You need to use the test kit to dip it into a sample of your poo and then send it back to us here at the laboratory in Llantrisant. When that kit gets back to us, we test, and we're looking for tiny traces of blood in the samples. So blood in the poo doesn't necessarily mean that you'll have bowel cancer. It could be a range of other bowel conditions, such as piles, hemorrhoids, for example. But we do know that finding blood in poo can be one of the signs of early bowel cancer. For 98% of people, they'll receive a normal result, which means that no further action is required at this time. But for 2%, we'll invite those people to come forward for further investigations with us. So we usually offer an appointment with a screening nurse, and the screening nurse will talk a little bit about the positive result that the person's had, but we'll also start to assess their fitness and suitability for undergoing a colonoscopy. So a colonoscopy is a very small, thin camera in a tube, which is inserted through the anus, and basically it's exploring to have a little look around the large bowel. And the colonoscopy really is trying to find and diagnose cancers, and of course we're looking for them at the very earliest stages, but it's also a preventative measure. The colonoscope has specialist equipment in it which can be used to remove polyps, and we know that with time some polyps will develop into cancers, so it's also a preventative as well as a diagnostic service. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks for that, Benji. Now let's have a look at the headlines from Pontypridd 5.
Today our headlines are: pupils get to see a live operation at Weimar Cardiff. We get hands-on with surgical instruments. What is cancer and finding out more? Bowel screening and why it's so important. And healthy eating. Could lifestyle change really make a difference? We now go on to Katie Pugh to tell us more about the live operation at Weimar Cardiff.
The pupils at Pontypridd High School went on a trip to Weimar Teeth Hospital in Cardiff, and they were asked to plan out what questions they're going to ask the surgeons as they're about to watch a live keyhole surgery being performed. This clip shows Wendy Evans talking about the importance of the screening test and how most people actually don't do the test. Before the surgery began, bowel cancer survivor Julie Hopkins explains her experience with bowel cancer. The live operation was streamed from what the doctors could see and a video of the surgeons. The pupils could also talk to the surgeons and ask questions. The doctors were explaining what part of the body they were looking at and what tools they used. They would answer any of the questions they were asked and described what they were doing in detail. The pupils also interacted with a green screen where they could put their hands underneath a camera and it would show up on the stream, and they could ask the doctors questions about what is what. Overall, it was a really good experience, and it was really interesting seeing a live operation, and we all learned a lot. This is Katie Pugh, PHS News.
Wow, what an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop there. as now we go to Nye to tell us more about the activities involved.
After watching the beginning of the surgery, the pupils got to try using different surgical equipment, such as doing a colonoscopy, performing keyhole surgery using sugar cubes, attempting to put on scrubs the correct way, and tying a surgeon's knot. Doing these activities, we really got a feel for how much training it actually takes to be a doctor. To get a feel of what it is like performing keyhole surgery, we had to stack up as many sugar cubes as possible and as accurately as possible. We also learned how to tie a surgical knot, which was harder than expected. Then we got to try performing a colonoscopy on a mannequin, which takes a lot of skill and effort. While doing this, we had to try and do the colonoscopy without causing any pain on the mannequin. After that, we tried putting on scrubs, but the challenge was we weren't allowed to touch the outside of the scrubs that we were putting on. This is Nia Partington, PHS News.
There were a lot of fun activities which we all enjoyed. It was a great learning experience for us.
Yes, I agree, but we need to learn more from a surgeon. Now on to Judy Cornish in Cardiff.
So my name is Judy Cornish. I'm a colorectal consultant in Cardiff and Vale. And what that basically means is that I operate on people who have bowel cancer. Now, people who've undergone bowel screening, who come back and have a positive screening test with the FIT test, undergo colonoscopy. And colonoscopy is a camera test of the bowel where we give you a strong laxative to clean out the bowels. And then you have a camera put into the bowels with some mild sedation and pain relief. And we look to see if there's anything there that's caused you to have a positive FIT test, a positive screening test. If that shows that there is an underlying cancer, then biopsies are taken and the patient and their family are told at the time, and then they'll be asked to come back to clinic to see us, and we'll talk about then what scans they may have had and what the results of those might be. Usually with us is one of the colorectal cancer nurse specialists, and we've got 2 in this trust, that play a really important role for patients and really act as their point of contact throughout the journey of the patient. Once we know where the cancer is, we can then talk about what kind of an operation they might undergo. And that operation may be keyhole, laparoscopic, or it may be an open procedure depending on the patient. And we may talk about the patient needing a stoma, that's a bag where poo comes onto the outside of the tummy, or the patient may not need that. Many of the patients don't actually need a stoma. When they come into hospital, they're admitted onto the ward, and then they have their procedure and they stay in hospital somewhere around 5 to 7 days, depending on what kind of procedure they have and if they have any problems afterwards. So my role as a consultant is to assess whether they're fit for surgery, to assess what kind of operation they need, to talk them through the operation and make it so the patient and the family understand what that involves and what the risks and complications are, and then to do the actual operation and to look after them afterwards. So after that, I would see the patient in clinic and I'd follow them up for 5 years with the specialist nurses.
It was good to hear from a surgeon and from a surgeon's perspective.
Yeah, it was, but the whole point of the Moondance project is to raise an awareness for bowel cancer. So in order to do this, we had to take it to the classroom.
The Pontypridd area got chosen as it has one of the lowest rates for the bowel screening test.
We now go to Finn Johnson-Denny reporting.
The pupils also did sessions in school with Judy Cornish and Miss Pullen. We learnt in detail facts about the digestive system and how the bowel plays an important role in it. Judy Cornish then spoke to us about what cancer was. We found out about the process of how cancer forms a tumour and how, if caught early enough, can stop the cancer developing. Julie told us how cancer develops from polyps or cells. We then created our own cancer emoji to visualise what cancer would look like. We also made a questionnaire and wrote down key points from the talks. We then made a leaflet summarising what we had learnt. This is Finn Johnson-Denny, PHS News.
We found out what cancer actually is. It was good to see it from a surgeon's perspective, but we also need to learn more about the screening process. Now on to Nia Pritchard reporting.
We also did a session in school with Benji Williams about bowel screening in Wales and how our area has the lowest amount of people in Wales taking the test. We then learnt about what bowel cancer was and how it forms in your body. We learnt how they do the test with the stool samples and how they then in the labs go on to test the stool samples that get sent to them and how they're changing the test kit to make it easier to use. We found this talk very interesting. After this, we got to learn about the old and new test kits to find out if you have bowel cancer. We got to try these test kits for ourselves by using Milky Way bars. We found the old test to be very difficult and hard to complete because it was time consuming, consisting of 2 stool samples over 3 days. But then we tried the newer test kit, which was much easier to complete and only takes a short period of time to do, by consisting of 1 stool sample over 1 day. The instructions were also very easy to follow, and we enjoyed it very much as it was easy and fun. This is Nia Pritchard from PHS News.
What a great experience this has been. We've learned so much in the last 6 weeks.
This will definitely raise awareness for bowel cancer in Wales
and increase the percentage of Pontypridd's bowel screening participation.
After this broadcast, there will be a live event in Pontypridd High, and that will for sure boost the awareness.
We hope you've enjoyed this PHS News special. Thanks for watching.